All right, guys. So I find this next clip incredibly terrifying, but also really ironic, because Trump is going to lean into this is classic Republican law and order, I'm tough on crime type stuff. But I mean, this is even beyond the pale for him. Let's watch and then we'll react to it.
But in places where there is a true breakdown in the rule of law, such as Oakland, Oakland is so bad. I will use every power at my disposal. But it's not Oakland, it's in Los Angeles, it's all over. I mean, it's terrible. It's in places that you wouldn't even believe. But I will use everything I can, every single power at my disposal, including sending as many federal law enforcement assets as required to restore safety and peace. And we will immediately stop. And some people are going to say, oh, this is terrible. I can't believe it. You know, these people are killing people when they go into the stores. You'll have 300 young people who are not looking for a good future walk into a store, big department store, and just pillage it. And if you happen to be there when they're there, they'll knock the hell out of you and kill you in some cases. And we will immediately stop all of the pillaging and theft. Very simply, if you rob a store, you can fully expect to be shot as you are leaving that store. Shot.
If you rob a store, you can fully expect to be shot leaving that store. So in other words, on the spot, judge, jury, executioner, death penalty for shoplifters. Look, man, there's some portion of the online left that I do think it's fair to say is too soft on crime, right? Like if you look at a video of some mass looting and shoplifting or something like that, and your initial reaction is to talk about the social ills and what went on in their childhood and what goes on with capitalism to lead them to such a position, there's a time for that sort of high-minded, academic, highfalutin discussion, and there's also a time to point out the obvious. And in that instance, the obvious reaction is enforce the laws that are already on the books, right? Arrest them. Now, I don't know exactly the amount of time they would get behind bars, in jail, or in prison, or whatever, but this is what a criminal justice system is for. There's due process. You arrest them. You go through the process. Some people will probably serve some time in prison. Other people, I don't know, might be a fine depending on how much money or how many goods they steal and what the dollar value is of those goods that they stole. So, like, I'm not on the side of, like, let's downplay it or let's act like it's not an issue or whatever. No, I think there is an argument that crime in certain places is a genuine issue. But this is swinging the pendulum way too far in the other direction. Murder people over shoplifting? No. I mean, that's as authoritarian as it gets. That's like police state stuff. And I do find it kind of ironic that there's this like anti-World Economic Forum, right conspiracy theory lane, the Alex Jones types who used to always fearmonger, oh my God, the police state, the police state, the police state. And then here you get an instance of Trump being like, I am pro-police state. And are they going to be like, whoa, that goes way too far. That's tyrannical, that's dictatorial, that's authoritarian, that's judge, jury, and executioner in the hands of just the cops. They're not going to say it. Of course they're not going to say it. In fact, they'll cheer it. Now, again, at the beginning of this, I said there's irony here in what he's saying. More on that in a second. Right? I'm law and order, I'm tough on crime. You are a criminal. Okay, all right. We'll get to that in a second. But so now we got this. He added this to his repertoire of, things I say in my rally speeches. Let's murder shoplifters. No, let's just follow the law, enforce the ones that are on the books, arrest them, and go through the judicial process like we should. That's the correct answer, not murdering them on the spot. Imagine believing in the death penalty. What if somebody's stealing $20 worth of stuff? Death penalty? Death penalty. What if somebody's stealing... Crystal was on a jury one time, and a woman stole diapers for her kid. Death penalty for that? Death penalty? To her credit, her and the jury decided we're letting this woman off. This is crazy. But this reminds me of one of the golden oldies. This was Trump's comments on drug dealing.
Penalties should be very, very severe. If you look at countries throughout Department of Justice and the Department of Homeland Security should be tasked with destroying these organizations, and the penalties should be very, very severe. If you look at countries throughout the world, the ones that don't have a drug problem are those that institute a very quick trial death penalty sentence for drug dealers. It sounds horrible, doesn't it? But you know what? That's the ones that don't have any problem. It doesn't take 15 years in court. It goes quickly, and you execute a drug dealer and you'll save 500 lives because they kill on average 500 people.
That's complete and utter nonsense. Where do we even begin with this? First of all, the things we consider a quote-unquote drug, that's a very vast array of things, right? And some of the quote-unquote drugs are legal. Alcohol is one of the worst substances for you. That's legal. If you're actually being consistent in this viewpoint, you'd want to ban alcohol and then say, what? Murder the CEO of Anheuser-Busch? You know, murder the pharmaceutical company executives? Like, what exactly are we talking about here? Would you say death penalty for a low-level weed dealer? What does weed make people do? It doesn't make them violent. It doesn't make them unreasonable. It makes them lay on the couch and watch reruns of sitcoms and eat Cheetos. Like, is this really? He's saying death penalty for drug dealers. Death penalty. Well, like Adderall, for example, is basically legal speed or legal cocaine. Should your local doctor who prescribes that to you get the death penalty? Like, what are we really talking about here? So we got death penalty for shoplifters. We got death penalty for drug dealers. Is there anything you are not in favor of the death penalty for? Anything. Anything. He said quick trial. He wants it done like that, right? But again, so now the main point, and we've all been waiting for it. It's right there in front of our eyes. You were just found liable of fraud. Massive fraud. You defrauded banks. You defrauded insurance companies. Lied repeatedly to lower your tax bill while at the same time turning around when you try to get a better deal from banks and you overvalue all of your assets and your property and all that stuff. So now that was a civil case, okay? So you could say, civil case is different. Fair enough, even though I think it probably should be a criminal case because this fraud was of a colossal scale. But put that aside. There's 91 criminal charges where you attempted to overturn an election. You did slates of, quote, fake electors, their words. Slates of, quote, fraudulent electors, their words. Created a paper trail of their crimes, defrauding the U.S. government, and tried to force Mike Pence to overturn the election, which is effectively a coup, that you tried to coup the election. So 91 crimes. He's like, I'm tough on crime. Law and order. All right, do you want to put yourself to death, homie? But go a step further, because there's some people who would watch this who are Trump fans or whatever, or maybe not even Trump fans, maybe just conservatives who go, okay, well, that's not fair. I don't think those reach that level. Does this reach that level? Remember this? Trump's first raid that he approved as president. 8-year-old American girl killed in Yemen raid approved by Trump. This is a raid that was so sketchy that even Obama, when he was in office, and he doesn't have a good track record with the drone strikes and things of that nature, but even Obama saw the facts of this raid and said, this is too risky, let's not do it. Trump approved the raid. As a result of him approving that raid, an 8-year-old American girl, American, no due process, was murdered. Anwar al-Awlaki's daughter, Nawar. So Trump made the call, which led to the illegal assassination of a young American girl. Now, if you're saying death penalty for shoplifting and drug dealing, I would imagine something like this would carry the death penalty too, right? Killing a young American girl. But of course, you know the way that they think. When we do it, it doesn't count. When we do it, it's good by definition, because our intentions are oh so pure. When other people do it, throw the book at them. Lock them up, throw away the key, kill them, execute them. So it's always tough on crime. Terms and conditions apply, right? There's always like a by the way. There's always a but. Oh, we're tough on crime. What about gun crime? Well, I mean, a lot of these people oppose basic regulations that would just keep guns out of the hands of convicted criminals. They oppose that. Tough on crime unless it's a gun crime, in which case I want you to have guns even if you're a proven criminal. Tough on crime except war crimes, in which case we're pro-war crime. Trump also ordered the assassination of a top Iranian general. nearly sparking World War III, led to a tit-for-tat with Iranian militias. So tough on crime, except gun crime, except war crimes, and except Trump's own crimes. In which case, totally innocent, did nothing wrong, nothing ever, but that guy stole $20 worth of goods from Radio Shack, and he should be murdered on the spot. Jesus Christ, man. Ugh. Look, I'm going to put it very simply. You can be Donald Trump, or you can be tough on crime. You can't have both. Because he is a quintessential criminal. White-collar criminal who's gotten away with everything his entire life, and just now it's catching up to him. So, that's my advice to him. I'm sure he won't listen and doesn't care. It's tough on crime when the crimes are done by others, by people I don't like. When it comes to me, none of it counts. None of it, and I should be emperor of the world. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.